It's the not-so-mysterious Chris L. of Pot of Thunder, and you're listening to InObscuria, the podcast that has forgotten more than you'll ever know about music. Deal with it.
InObscuria!
Welcome back, my friends, to the InObscuria podcast, a podcast where we exhume obscure rock and punk and metal. And we put them in one of three categories: the lost, the forgotten, or the should-have-beens. I am Kevin E. Williams, and that over there, Robert Harrison.
Just leave it at that.
Okay.
First of all, let's talk about that intro.
Yes?
He is kind of mysterious. He's just Chris L.
He's the mysterious Chris L.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know what that stands for. It's not Loose Cannon. That's that other guy.
Yeah, that's the other guy.
So, yeah.
Well said.
He said he wasn't that. I beg to differ. And then I need to pick a bone about the fact that he said our podcast has forgotten more. I think we know who he's referring to. If you average out how much I've forgotten and how much you've forgotten, then you know that.
I think it was a compliment.
Okay. He wasn't trying to get a
He was not throwing shade. It was a compliment saying that we've forgotten more than most people know.
Right. I think I'm the one that's forgotten and you know. That's what I was getting at. So, but even if you,
I was trying to spin it so you wouldn't have to explain that again. But okay,
I appreciate that.
All right. Well, what's going on with you, sir? This year? This week?
Hey, it's New Year.
Hey, what's going on this week?
Where do I start? I've got 4 months to talk about. Oh wait, we already talked about all that. I'm still basking in the glow of a wonderful supper club I had a few days ago. Well, I think we
supper club.
We teased it, and we had a chef come out and cook a fantastic meal.
Welcome. I'm Julia Child. Today we're going to make a holiday feast, or les fêtes d'holiday, and we're going to start with half-bone chicken, or poulard demi-de-saucé. And you need a fine, fat, roasting chicken like this one. And first, remove the giblets, and you really should save the giblets. They make a fine stock for soup, or you can save the liver and fry it up with some onions for a little snack, or if you have a number of livers, you can make a lovely liver pate, or perhaps a delicious liverwurst, which you can spread on a cracker, a Ritz cracker, a saltine, or on bread, a rye bread, a pumpernickel bread, or if you're celebrating the Jewish holidays, you can make a chopped liver and shape it into the bust of a friend. Someone who's getting married.
Disclaimer, it was a vegan meal.
What the hell you say?
What's wrong with you?
But even though there was no meat in that meal, it was delicious. Oh my God, it was great. I couldn't tell you all the stuff that was in it.
Did you have a bunch of leftovers like usual?
Not that much. It was that good. People kind of went back for seconds. But even the dessert was vegan. That didn't mean it was healthy, but it was very delicious.
Vegan, you say?
So, but yes, vegan.
That means
lots
you
of
can
lentils.
Eat ham. You can have ham.
No,
you just can't have steak.
No, there's no.
No,
ham.
is that not?
No, that's kosher. No, that's opposite of kosher. Sorry.
Oh, so you can have chicken.
No.
You can have fish, but you can't have chicken.
No, that's pescatarian.
Oh, I get them all confused.
No, there was zero animal products or byproducts in this meal, which is bizarre because I usually have like 15 in one sitting.
No critters.
No critters
on the plate.
Or critter byproducts. No, it was all natural leaves and lentils, basically is what it boiled down to. But it was good. Just shoveling that in. But so because of that, I had posted about it on the social medias. And a friend of mine reached out and said, hey, by the way, I just happened to be friends with this chef that was on the Food Network. He's interested.
We're just cooking. We're not building no rocket ships or anything. Hey, are we having fun yet?
And so
interested in
being
coming over here
chef
and
at my
chefing
house.
for you.
Yeah, so I'll if we can work that out, I'll talk about who it is and disclose it.
Wow.
But yeah, he's going to come over and take a tour of the firehouse and see if it's up to his standards. And
Bobby Flay.
No, it's a dude. So
Yeah, okay.
But I haven't watched that or any TV in 15 years. So
I don't think Bobby Flay's been on in probably 20 years. I don't know.
okay, I've lost track. But I used to watch the Food Network, and it was the most aggravating damn thing. You would watch it and just get freaking hungry
You
as
get so
hell,
hungry, yeah.
and then cook something that's completely half-ass than what you just watched on TV.
Before we had kids, that's what Grace used to watch all the time.
Yeah.
For some reason, she'd watch it all the time because she would come home and she liked to play around in the kitchen.
Would she
After
try
we
to
had
cook
kids,
stuff after? Oh yeah,
It was like
mac and cheese,
don't have
chicken
time for this
nuggets.
shit.
No, you just give it up.
Whatever those kids will eat, that's what we put on the plate.
Well, we'll have a little cook-off. We'll have just a show dedicated to food music. We'll come up
Food
with a playlist.
music, I like it.
Yeah,
Some chefing music.
chefing music. Yeah, music cooked by.
Okay. Did you see the liftoff yesterday? Did you see the space flight?
Actually did, and I've heard other people mention the same thing. that
Artemis.
all of us Gen Xers.
Yeah.
I really just wanted to watch it on delay because I knew the way things have been going lately. I'm like,
Oh, yeah. I lived through Challenger.
I lived
Yeah.
through Challenger. I really don't want to watch this one blow up. It's just. But
I watched it all day long.
Did you?
Yeah.
I just saw the liftoff,
I
and
put
then
NASA on YouTube, and I just had it on all day long. It
so
was pretty cool.
What's the by the time this comes out, I think it'll already be back.
They'll
But
be back.
How many days does
10
it
days.
take? 10 days.
10 days. They're going further than any humans have ever gone because they're going around.
Oh,
the
instead
other
of
side
going
the moon.
straight to the moon,
Yeah.
and then back.
They're not just going. They are going around it, but they're going further out
Okay.
and around.
Why? Just to say
They're testing. They're testing this spaceship that they've never used before,
Okay.
and they're planning on using this for the next 4 or 5 missions.
I got it. They're pushing the limits a little bit. It's a test flight.
Just,
Got it.
just they're getting close to the moon, but not
Yeah.
touching down.
Yeah.
Just a little flyby.
That's what Dio does. He doesn't. He's not
Little
the
drive-by
He's
shooting.
not a lovey-dovey dog. Like, come over and pet me. He walks up to you and you stick out your hand and he just kind of turns.
I know. Yeah.
It's very frustrating when people come up to pet him. He's like, "Hey, how's it going? I got to go over here now."
Yeah, my wife asks me all the time, like, "Do you smell like dog when I come home?" Because I'm like, "No, like I don't even touch him.
No.
He doesn't want to be
He,
touched.
he likes you from a distance.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, what's
Like,
up?"
I'll bark at you.
You stay there.
I'll come eat food
Yeah.
near you, but no, you're not touching me.
Yeah. So he was.
Stop touching me.
With my family, and my family was all talking about the same thing. They all stick out their hand to pet him, and he just turns
Yeah.
right at the last second, and you're stuck with your hand.
Oh
out.
hell no!
Yeah, psych.
Run it, James Stevens.
Oh man. Well, after you tell everybody not to touch you. Yeah. Hey now, go listen to Pod of Thunder.
I did not. Just for clarity, I didn't say that.
Okay, all right. Cobras and Fire, Grown Up Rock, Slamfest Podcast, Decibel Geek, you all right over there? Sean Geek and Fast Fred Podcast, A to Z Radio, Metal Up Your Podcast, The Hustle, Disciples of the Watch, Podcast Rock City, State of Amorica, Rock Strikes 10, Potter Than Hell, The Kiss Room, Ages of Rock, and The Podcast Will Rock. Big Al's rocking the podcast? No, rockin' podcast.
Rockin' the podcast. Good stick song.
What the hell's wrong with me today? Regarding the Elder and don't forget about Monty.
Hey, this is Monty Colvin from Galactic Cowboys and Monty's Rockcast, and you are listening to the amazing InObscuria podcast. Rock on!
Monty's Rockcast. We're going to get that album soon. I could just feel it. It's
Yeah?
coming soon.
Any day now.
Any day now. They said that they're pressing the vinyl.
Well, speaking of new albums, have you heard the Black Crowes' new album?
I have heard the Black Crowes.
What a time to be doing a podcast about the Black Crowes. What a great... You talk about Black Crowes for years, and they're not doing anything. They're sitting around on the beach,
know, but now-
getting high, and all of a sudden they
State of
go on
Amorica.
tour. Yeah.
Here they are. They've released 2 albums in the last 3 years.
Yeah, that's not bad. Huh? So, yeah, congratulations to those guys for sticking it out.
And they've now had Rich and Chris on.
Both of them.
So they've had both of them.
That's
on.
badass.
So they've gotten all the crows on there, all the living crows.
Living
that is.
crows.
Yes,
Are there
they're
a
not
lot-
like us. They can't speak to
Oh,
the
there are
dead.
a lot of dead crows?
There's some dead crows.
Really?
Yeah, There's a couple of death rows.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, other than Rich and the other guy.
Yeah. All right. So, Robert, this episode came to me in a dream, sort of. Yeah, sort of. Did you ever watch, just by chance, Flight of the Conchords?
No.
It came out in the mid-2000s. You never watched it on YouTube or anything? Never seen it? Okay. Well,
is it about a band?
It is about a band.
Okay, that's all I know about it.
Yeah. And they're from New Zealand. They have, New Zealand accents. But this is similar to how my dream provided today's content, but not exactly, but it's similar. So I'm just going to give you this as a reference point, okay?
Brett!
Jermaine, what are you doing?
It's not Jermaine. It's 1972 David Bowie from the Ziggy Stardust tour.
Wow, you look a lot like Jermaine.
No, I'm David Bowie.
What are you doing in my room?
This is a dream, Brett. It's all part of your freaky dream.
Oh, right.
Am I freaking you out, Brett? Is this a freaky dream?
I've had some pretty freaky dreams.
Have you?
Yeah, I had one where I was a guinea pig, but with my face. And I had another one where I was a giraffe, but then when you look...
Okay, listen, Brett, I don't have much time, man. I'm just here to tell you, don't worry about your body image. People used to give me crap about being thin all the time, but I just broke through their false barriers.
What about the novelty music paparazzi?
Oh, the media monkeys and the junket junkies will invite you to the plastic pantomime. Throw their invites away.
Not really sure what you're talking about.
I want to give you one more piece of advice. Get an eye patch, man.
Sorry?
Get an eye patch.
Oh yeah, I've got an eye patch.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wear it.
Okay.
Wear the eye patch, Brett. Wear the funky, funky eye patch. Bye, Brett.
Bye-bye, David Bowie.
Heed my advice. Wear
Watch
the
out for
eye
the table.
patch, Brett. Watch out the table, Brett.
Are you getting an eye patch?
What the hell did you just say?
No, I'm not. No.
Oh, I thought this was your way of telling me.
No, not yet. I'm sure that's coming next. I went to the doctor a couple of weeks ago, so I'm doing all sorts of things. But eye patch is not yet.
As many times as I've had things removed from my eye, it's amazing I don't have to have one.
No, that was just similar to where we're going. So my dream wasn't quite as literate as that.
Okay.
I think because of the whole launch into space, I think I had space on my mind or something. But yeah, I had space brain. I fall asleep every night with my headphones in.
Yeah, which is not good.
Usually I just listen to an album, and so it's, 8, 10 songs, whatever, and then it cuts off. Well, I hit shuffle last night, which means it
just kept
play
playing
until, next year with as much music as I have on my phone. So it was playing all night, and I guess, who knows how that's influencing what you're dreaming about. But in the middle of the night, I swear I woke up, and this song was playing that I'm getting ready to play for you. It was playing, and I woke up as soon as it started, and then as soon as it was done, I fell back asleep. And I didn't even I woke up and the music was still going. But for some reason, this one song, I was lucid for at least these 3 minutes. And I want to play it because I believe it's a sign. We haven't had a sign in quite a while. We haven't had, we haven't really felt the vibes from the nether world.
regions.
Nether regions we have.
Yes.
Nether world,
yes.
not.
We can't talk about that.
Yeah, nether regions, you got that covered.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to play this for you because perhaps you get the same inspiration that I got.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Play it. Is this hum?
Sounds a little like it.
Lives in space. Bear lives in space. What you doing out there, Mom?
That's pretty freaky, Bowie.
Ooh, Bowie.
Is it cold out in space, Bowie?
You can borrow my jumper if you like, Bowie.
Does the cold of deep space make your nipples get pointed, Bowie?
Do you use your pointy nipples as telescopic antennae to transmit data back to Earth?
I bet you do, you freaky old bastard, you.
Do you have one really funky sequin spacesuit, Bowie? Or do you have several changes?
Do they smoke grass out in space, Bowie? Or do they smoke astroturf?
Ooh. Receiving transmission from David Bowie's nipple antennae. Do you read me, Lieutenant Bowie?
I said, do you read me?
Lieutenant Bowie. This is Bowie to Bowie. Do you hear me out there, man?
This is Bowie back to Bowie. I'll read you loud and clear, man.
Oh yeah, man. Your signals weak on my radar screen. How far out are you, man?
I'm pretty far out.
That's pretty far out, man.
I'm orbiting Pluto. Drawn in by its gravitational pull. I'm jamming out with the McJuggernauts soon, and they think it's pretty cool.
Okay, Bowie, what was that sound?
I don't know, man, I have to turn my ship around. Ooh, it's the craziest thing.
Yeah, I'm picking it up on my LSD screen.
Can you see the stratosphere ringing
To the choir of Afronauts singing.
Bowie's in space. Bowie, 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 Bowie. Bowie's in space. Bowie, 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 Bowie.
I'm a mean and mine and Bowie.
Faces on funky.
I'm a mean and mine and Bowie. Bowie's in space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you got it, right? You got the same inspiration I got?
Pigs in space.
And now, pigs in space! Starring the fatuous Captain
Content!
The recalcitrant first mate Miss
Mighty K.
Can we do an obscure Bowie episode?
Oh, okay. I was waiting for the space rock. I'm like, well, of course we can. We've done it many times.
This was about Bowie, man.
Yeah. Okay.
So, is it possible?
You have done episodes on 36 famous bands, to my count, and made that work.
Okay.
So I have all faith and confidence in you.
Well, I looked it up, did the old AI search, you see. I looked it up to see, could we possibly do an obscure Bowie episode?
What did AI say?
Here's what AI said.
Of course.
There's something called the Bowie effect. It's a symptom, apparently. Or not a symptom, maybe it's a thing.
Mm-hmm. It's a sign.
The Bowie effect is he is the most underground mainstream artist. He rarely stayed in one lane long enough to maintain chart dominance like Elton John, but his pivots created the blueprints that everyone else followed throughout his entire career. So he's sort of obscure, but he's mainstream. So I think I figured out the way we can do it. But let's talk about his influence a little bit.
Okay.
He's ranked alongside the Beatles and Bob Dylan as one of the three pillars of modern popular music, according to my research. Britain's most influential artist. In 2022 Sky Arts poll of 50 experts, Bowie was named the most influential British artist of the last 50 years. That's not very obscure, is it?
No.
He beat out directors, writers, and other musicians for his impact across music, film, and fashion. He is also known as the musician's musician, because he's the most influential artist of all time, according to the NME, based on polls of other musicians. And then he's also a genre pioneer. He is credited with either inventing or popularizing glam rock, electronic, new wave, and artists ranging from Lady Gaga to Madonna to Nirvana to Nine Inch Nails have cited him as a primary inspiration for their music. So all signs are leading to not obscure.
No, that's pretty obscure.
That's pretty obscure.
Extra obscure.
Yeah. So let's look at his success. And this is where we might say, no. So Bowie sits below the absolute megastars. He sits below Elvis, Michael Jackson, Taylor Swift, but he's still considered a top-tier artist. Record sales of over 140 million records globally. So he's one of the best selling artists in history. And in vinyl itself, vinyl dominance, reflecting his status as a collector's artist. Bowie was named the best-selling vinyl artist of the 21st century as of 2022. How does he do on streaming? On platforms like Spotify, he maintains around 22 million monthly listens. And while that does sound kind of impressive, it's lower than the pop titans like Queen or Elton John because his catalog is more experimental and less playlist friendly. But that's still quite a few streams he has there. So all signs are pointing to not obscure.
Yes.
So this is what we're going to do.
We're going to just play it quietly. You can barely hear it.
Incognito. No, what we're going to do is episode 329, Covers from Beyond, tributes to David Bowie.
I knew you could do it. You've done it many times.
Okay, so before we begin today, and you get into how much you love David Bowie, we have to go to our council. So let's consult our council of sages, known as the Diabolical Duo. Let's see what they have to say.
Captain
Anton.
And this is my faithful companion,
Mighty K.
Say hello.
All right, here we go. The moment you've all been waiting for. Holy mother friggin' A. Ugh. Listen, I don't like to talk bad about any music or bands. I'm just not. So I won't. I'm just not a huge fan of that bullshit. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Payback's a bitch, motherfucker. Holy shit balls. Oh my god, I'm crying. Also, are you guys for hire for digging holes? Because I got some bodies I want to bury.
She's got an accomplice.
Yeah, I don't have my tractor anymore.
But she just ran over somebody, and I heard another voice. Yeah, she's got an accomplice now. Well, he's in on it. We did not know this.
Yeah, if she goes down, he's got to go with her.
Oh man.
Yeah, and they don't put you in the same cell.
I hate that we played that.
Oops.
Ooh.
Hopefully no attorneys are listening.
But I'm pretty sure she's not down with the Bowie. Which, we're going to talk about that.
She's a little younger than us, so maybe that's it. Is she? She's a little older than us, so maybe.
I don't know that that's right, but okay.
I just assumed she was younger than us. I'm just feeling old lately, so
okay.
Yeah. Everybody I come in contact with.
But I'd never understood. There's so many people of our age and older who either love or hate David Bowie. And for some reason, the ones that are into the hard rock, they tend to not like David Bowie, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense to me because every hard rock artist, the musician themselves, loves Bowie. And Absolutely. That's where a lot of their music came from. So it makes no sense to me.
Pantera.
Yeah.
If you interview the...
I guarantee you they had Ziggy Stardust on the turntable. Yeah. It's bizarre.
That is weird.
Yeah. I don't see any problem. So let me just go through my history with Bowie just a little bit. 5th grade year, I remember Let's Dance was a big hit.
Yes.
And I absolutely loved that song. To me, it went along with all the new wave. I wasn't into music really yet, but I listened to what was on the radio, and Let's Dance I thought was an awesome song. Every time it came on, I loved it. Didn't know that Stevie Ray Vaughan played on it. I didn't know who that was.
Yeah.
I just knew I liked the way it sounded, and I thought it was really cool. And that was kind of when I was starting to get interested in pop music a little bit. And then the next year, I had my 6th grade dance. So our elementary school went through 6th grade. And so the 6th grade, ruled the school, and we got a dance. And I remember not only did they play that song, but I had signed up for some raffle and I won a poster, and it was my first music poster that ever went on my wall, and it was David Bowie, Jazzin' for Blue Jean.
I forgot about that song.
Yeah, it was Tonight was the name of the album, but it had the album cover on it, big David Bowie written on it, and I put that on my wall, and that was the very first band poster to go on my bedroom wall. So I do have a bit of a history with David Bowie, although I didn't buy his music. I just listened to whatever I heard on the radio or if I caught a video or something. But I had heard about Ziggy Stardust and all of that once I started getting into glam metal. All of those bands, like I said, even just what boggles the mind is all of those bands from Poison to Cinderella to all those, Motley Crue, all those bands, they all loved David Bowie. They grew up on Ziggy Stardust. So I think it was Brandon that got a copy of Ziggy Stardust on tape, And so my band frontman, one of our big cover songs was Ziggy Stardust. We did that in high school. But again, I didn't really have anything other than he had Ziggy Stardust. I went out and I bought Diamond Dogs. I just thought it sounded cool. I didn't have any clue what the music was, but I love it. So we kind of started in that phase of Bowie, which was the glam years when Bowie got really big. Then in 1989, which is around the same time that we were covering everything, but I heard Tin Machine. I don't know if you remember Tin Machine or not. We've played them on the show, but that was a very short-lived band.
Was that 80s
Bowie
or
was
90s, you say?
It came out in 89, but I probably didn't hear it until 90, 91.
Okay, I was going to say, I was aware at that time, so
Yeah.
that'd have been in the
I found it
90s.
in a bargain bin, so it had to be 90 probably.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it sold very well. It
No.
wasn't immensely popular, but that's what really got me hooked on David Bowie. Tin Machine, when I went to college my freshman year, within the first week of my freshman year, the second Tin Machine album came out, and that was my tape for that semester. That's my history with Bowie.
Well, I'm similar. I was watching a new thing called MTV, junior high school, and I think Let's Dance. But then I liked it, and there was this sharp-dressed dude singing it, and then
They look cool. Yeah.
And then China Girl.
Mm-hmm.
That one it just felt a lot different than everything else at the time, and I really kind of zoned in on that, and I was like, okay, I like that, this David Bowie guy. And then there was a song, Peter Schilling did a song, I think it's Major Tom, or
he did a cover, or
no,
his own?
it's a different song. I think it's called Coming Home, but it talks about Major Tom.
Hello, Major Tom. Are you receiving? Turn the thrusters on. We're standing by. There's no reply. 4, 3, 2, 1. Earth below us, drifting, falling, floating, weightless, calling,
Right.
So
which is a Bowie connection
but I didn't
from
know
Space
that,
Oddity.
because I had not listened to classic rock yet, and I don't remember hearing Major Tom. So I actually heard Peter Schilling's homage to Major Tom first.
Bowie.
Well, then I listened to classic rock, and I hear Major Tom. I'm like, oh, that's about that song that guy Peter Schilling wrote.
Bowie's in space.
Like, wow, this guy David Bowie wrote a song to this other, and then it's like, oh no, I got it backwards. So I had no concept of all the glam, but like borderline shock rock glam stuff that he would do, really pushing the androgynous limits, things like that, shaving his eyebrows.
Oh, yeah.
He was pink before Bob Geldof was pink.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
he probably based his character on David Bowie.
Absolutely. So yeah, I got it all backwards, but by the time I figured it all out, I was like, okay, I like the big hits of his, but I've never really delved into the old stuff that made him who he is today. But it resonates with the 80s stuff, resonates with me. And then everything ever since then, it's just, I revere him in the sense that I know he's cool, even if I don't get into the old stuff as much as I should, just because I haven't taken the time to listen to a lot of it. But I have a high level of respect for what he's done.
He never stopped. He never set into a specific genre for very long.
Yeah.
Like he would set up for 3 albums like he did with glam. He like ushered in glam and then he got out, 3 albums later. And then he went into electronic, which he
like
went to Germany
pop.
and did the 80s thing. And then he basically helped invent electronica as well as he inspired new wave. Because in 1980 he released an album and it really inspired the rest of the new wave stuff that was starting to happen.
Even his last album, how dark that was. Wasn't it during COVID, or was it right before COVID?
It was
when he passed away.
It was before. It was 2016.
Okay. But yeah, that album, and then hearing about his death, it was heavy.
Yeah, but he never stopped releasing stuff. I don't know if you remember, it was probably around 97, he released an album that was kind of like what U2 was trying to do, going a little bit electronica and alternative, but he released an album before them, and I remember he came to Atlanta and he played Smith's Old Bar, and you had to call in to try to get a ticket to it. You had to call in to 99X.
Yeah, because our local radio station put on the concert.
Yeah.
And it was just
but it was like
invitation only.
It's a small room, and I tried so hard. I tried so hard to get tickets, and I did not get tickets.
They play that recording once in a while. They have they call it Live X,
yeah.
and they rotate old recordings now because the station came back. And so they rotate some of those old recordings. I remember listening to that a few months ago.
I mean,
it was wild.
I would love to talk to somebody that actually went to that. That had to be amazing to see him in such a small space.
It was, 100 people or less?
I mean, maybe more than that, but not a lot.
Not much.
Yeah.
200 or less, probably.
Probably.
Because it wasn't a big venue.
Unreal. But he just never stopped until he passed away. And he did take some time off. He kind of went dark for a while, but then he came back and released a few albums, and then his last album came out, I think, the day before.
Yeah, it was really close because I think
came out on his birthday, and I think he died like right after.
And I immediately pulled it up, like after the announcement, and yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, just an interesting dude, and like I say, for guys that are into hard rock and metal, he absolutely inspired a lot of those artists that you're probably into. Like, there would be no Motley Crue without David Bowie. I believe that. He kind of influenced that whole scene. So it's always interesting to me when people say they don't like Bowie. But we're going to hear some other folks interpreting Bowie
that
today,
do like him.
And we're going to hear a lot of Ziggy Stardust, because when you look up David Bowie covers, it seems to be centered a lot of it around that glam time frame. A lot of covers from that, and a lot of covers specifically from the Ziggy album. So we're going to hear probably most of Ziggy Stardust tonight, which is kind of cool.
Oh, and I forgot to talk about the Stevie Ray Vaughan connection.
Oh, yeah.
When I was really learning to play the guitar, Eric Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan were both huge. It was about a year before his death. And so that was a big inspiration, that kind of that bluesy lead. I love listening to that, and had that epiphany one day. I'm listening to Let's Dance.
Because you didn't put it together until then.
Put it, and I heard it, and it was like, wait a minute. And I think I asked somebody just to be sure. They're like, oh yeah, he's playing on that. And I'm like, oh my God, this whole time it was there.
Pick up that red guitar and talk to me.
God, yeah. So yeah, that was good. I think that made me like it even more.
I think I was the same way. I had no idea. Like I said, I wouldn't have known who Stevie Ray Vaughan was anyway.
No,
but
not in the
not
day.
until we got into music, and a friend of mine was getting into Stevie Ray Vaughan, and then he kind of told me, like, yeah, he's the guy on the David Bowie song. I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, that is great guitar.
Yeah, he'll break Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Wow. All right, let's get into this. So first up is an album. Wow, this is going back to a couple of weeks ago. An album that I picked up via recommendation from the write-up on the wall at Manifest Music back in college. Well, actually, I picked this up again after college, but same place.
Somewhere in there.
But I read about this band and thought, okay, this is a new band. They're something called emo. I don't know what that is. I wasn't really into that. I didn't know what that was. And we played this band in your favorite episode. If you go back and you listen to any episode, you should go back and listen to episode 70. That was called Sensitive Demons, all about emo. You loved it. You loved it.
Ate it up.
Yeah. So this band
puked it out.
The Get Up Kids. They were Vagrant Records darlings. Vagrant Records was the one that had a ton of those emo bands, and this was kind of their flagship band. They were the very definition of emo in the early 2000s, but they do a kick-ass version of this Bowie song. So here's Get Up Kids with their version of Suffragette City.
Hey man, school days the same.
song was very educational at the time because there were lots and lots of idiots like me that were asking, what the hell's a suffragette?
What the hell? Robert, for the love of Peter, Paul, and Mary.
The hell's he talking about?
A suffragette. It's like it's a horrible jet. It's just suffering. You got to put it out of its misery. And finally, before Google, you had to look it up.
And you looked it up.
And it's like, I still don't know what this is. Suffragette. Yeah. So I learned a little bit about history and learned the song. So this version of it accentuates the more punk rock side of the song versus the T-Rex glam rock side that the original kind of had.
Yeah. So let's talk about it a little bit. So David Bowie released Suffragette City April of 1972. It was a B-side to the single Starman, and then it appeared on The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. That's the name of the proper name of the album. Came out in 1972. This was track 10, so the next to last song. And since we're going to be covering a lot of Ziggy songs on this episode, I'm just going to go ahead and cover about Ziggy now, and then we won't have to talk about the whole thing again. But Ziggy Stardust focuses on Bowie as an alter ego. This is where he first became a chameleon, and he became this character, which is a fictional, androgynous, bisexual rock star who was sent to Earth as a savior before an impending apocalyptic disaster. So that's what the whole thing was meant to be about.
Yeah.
You know, and this is considered by many as one of the greatest records of all time. Ziggy Stardust is. So if you go to a best of album list out there, you know, whether it's critics or just fans of music, this always ranks high. People love this album. But if you look at the worldwide sales of it, it's only around 7.7 million, which is only 1 million in the U.S. So
yeah, but back then there were only 5 million people total in the U.S.
No, there's no way that's correct.
I'm sorry. I was trying to impress you.
Oh.
I'm talking about today even. So if you think about bands like Pink Floyd that have diamond albums, those are 10 million plus selling albums.
Yeah.
Bowie's not even there with this album. It's just the effect of what he did and the awareness of the album. It's not really related to the sales of the album.
True.
Which is interesting.
But his alter ego album did a lot better than Garth Brooks's.
It did. You're right. It sure did.
So he was pretty happy with that.
And the impact of the album outside of sales, in 2017, this album was selected for preservation in the National Recording Registry by the Library of Congress.
Oh, it's cool. Do they put it on a satellite and shoot it into space?
Yeah. Bowie's in space. Yeah, it was deemed culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant enough to go into the Library of Congress. And he's not even American.
Nope.
Which is pretty awesome. It was...
Get him out. Not from here.
He's probably deported.
Decent. Get him out.
Suffragette City is considered proto-punk. It was a gateway song for a lot of punk and metal kids who were coming up in the early 70s, and by the time they picked up guitars and started their bands in the mid to late 70s, you started getting heavier, and this was a blueprint. So you're right.
Like I said, without the horns, you can tell it. But with the horns, it took that down. I never really made that connection. It sounded like it. As I mentioned, T-Rex, a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
But it actually has a punk edge to it.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny you mentioned T-Rex. So Mark Bolan and David Bowie were good friends. And I guess Mark Bolan had already started T-Rex before Ziggy came out. Mm-hmm. And so David did take a little bit. He borrowed a little bit from what Mark was doing with T-Rex, even though they were new as well.
Yeah.
And then he just multiplied the whole scenario and played it up was more outrageous than anything T-Rex was doing.
Right. And was Suffragette one of the songs he offered up to Mott the Hoople?
It was not.
What was this? I can't remember what
that was. All the young dudes.
Well, that's one they took.
Yeah,
but there was a second one. He offered 2 of them, and they only took 1. I can't remember. I thought it was Suffragette.
We'll get this. Hey, staff, get on that. Hey, look that up. Yeah, we'll get them on that.
We'll fill that in later.
The other thing I wanted to mention is this was a concert staple. This was the first time I heard this song was surfing on TV one day, and I came across a live rendition of it. And so to me, it sounded like punk rock, and I was like, damn, this is cool. I didn't know when it was from.
Because that was the era where recordings sounded a whole lot poppier than the live concert.
Yeah, the live concert, it sounded like a punk song. I was like, damn, that's David Bowie? Because I only knew Let's Dance.
Yeah.
It was very different. But I remember seeing that. And to your point, I thought they were saying suffragette as well.
Yeah,
I had no idea what they were talking about.
I'd never heard the word. That wasn't part of our curriculum in Florida.
But all of what's considered the glam era of the David Bowie discography, it's Mick Ronson's guitar riffs. And I have a Mick Ronson solo album, and the dude was just fantastic. He was such a good player. He died young. I can't remember from what, but he died fairly young. But man, it was Bowie's vision and his lyrics and the fashion, and then Ronson's guitar that brought out, because Bowie was just a folk artist until he came across Mick Ronson. It was the band helped him. The Spiders helped him.
Surprise, motherfucker.
The song that Mott the Hoople famously declined was Suffragette City. In 1972, the band was on the verge of breaking up due to a lack of commercial success. David Bowie, a fan of the group, wanted to help them stay together. He first offered them Suffragette City, which he later recorded for the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, but the band turned it down.
Here ended the lesson.
All right, well, let's get into another phase of Bowie's existence. And this is an offshoot band from Suicidal Tendencies. We've played them before. This is Infectious Grooves, a funky band that we have featured 3 times actually on the show. We've played them on funk episodes. Mm-hmm. We did them on... They were up here. Oh. I took them off because we used them as one of our previous game shows.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we had already played from them, so I pulled them off when we made the new banner.
It's time to shake it up.
Yeah. We featured them several times. So Infectious Grooves, great band. This cover that I'm about to play was on the very first tape that I bought, which happens to be their second release, came out in 1993. And I wore this cassette out in college. I was really getting into funk music. I was trying to play, funky, groovy kind of rock. And Infectious Grooves just hit at the perfect time.
And for the kids listening, yes, you could wear out a tape.
Yes, you actually could wear out.
It's hard to wear out an MP3, but the cassette tapes had a lifespan, yes. Especially if you were in a hot climate and you left it in your car.
Yeah, this one didn't make it.
At some point, they would either break or just turn into it just was stretched beyond playability.
Because the more you know.
So we're going to hear a funky band play the funky side of David Bowie. So check out what Mike Murr and Robert Trujillo do with this song, Fame.
Shoot it for me. Got to get a electric gun. Hey, now. Hey. Hey. What's your name? What's your name? Bang, 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 bang. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name?
Robert definitely left his signature thud right there at the bass line.
I was envisioning him crab walking as he was recording that too.
Like 14 bass cabinets he's playing out of.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
This band introduced me to this song because all I knew to that point in 1993 was the glam era of David Bowie. I had not yet, explored other albums of his.
See, I consider this all of that part of the glam era.
Oh no,
I know it's not true. I just group it all into 70s. Everything in the 70s was his Ziggy Stardust glam era.
Yeah.
I forget that it changed and his look changed and everything changed, but that was still playing on the radio at the time, like rock stations.
See, I had never heard that.
Oh, yeah.
I had never heard it on any radio station.
Suffragette City, that was common to hear.
I remember that. I remember Ziggy, but I don't remember hearing a lot of David Bowie where I grew up, at least.
Yeah.
I was more introduced just by word of mouth and people talking about it because the perception and just the outrageousness of what he had done, it lasted all those years from, older brothers telling their younger brothers about it. And by the time it got to us, it was like folklore.
Right. That's why I considered all that because everybody would reference, how wacky his look was, once again, shaving his eyebrows, things like that. So that stuck with me as all through the 70s, but not just early 70s.
Yeah, so if you break Bowie down, he started off as a folk singer, and then he got a little bit psychedelic, and then he changed into the glam, and that's where he got his fame. He became the glam star, and he only did that for really 3 albums. And then in 1975, he releases this album called Young Americans. And I wasn't aware of this until after I heard This Infectious Grooves, and then I was seeking this out. And this album is very, very different because his look, he became what's known as blue-eyed soul,
Thin White Duke.
He was the Thin White Duke, and he was dressed up like you said with this kind of suit, and he's doing blue-eyed soul, but it's like funky. And on the album, he has amazing backup singers, and one of them is an unknown at the time, Luther Vandross.
Oh, wow.
Is one of his backup singers. He's on this album.
He was the king of
But this was actually his breakthrough in the U.S. Even though people talked about the Ziggy and the glam stuff, it didn't sell in the U.S. until he put out Young Americans, and that's what broke the top 10 for him. The Billboard chart Fame became Bowie's first #1 hit single, which is impressive. And like I said, I had never heard it until I heard Infectious Grooves do it, which is weird, but that's the way it played out for me. This album, along with the next one called Station to Station, where he was the Thin White Duke, it was like his most coked out time. He was very thin as well. Those are my 2 favorite albums. That's my favorite Bowie era, which is interesting because they're not the ones that most of the hipsters would go to, but those are my 2 favorite.
Well, that makes
albums.
sense for you, yes.
That does make sense for me, doesn't it? But I love those. So let's move on to another period. So after that period, he moved into what's known as the German albums. And he did 3 albums of electronica, where that's what they call it. I don't really hear it, but there's a very famous single that came out of that period. So we're going to hear a brand new version by a band that we've played, I think, once before. And they did another cover that we played. It was You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, Small Town Titans. So they just released, maybe a month ago, they released a version of this song. And it's him doing that voice. And he's got a hell of a range, the guy in that band. And he does his kind of low, which I like his low stuff.
Barry White,
yeah,
low.
Yeah, I love that. His bass voice. Anyway, over the last couple of years, the Small Town Titans were releasing albums for a while, and then they sort of went away. And they've always had a presence on YouTube, but over the last couple of years, they've just focused on YouTube. I think the guitarist left, and they were just a trio, and so they were doing this thing called Will It Riff. Have you checked out any? You need to go check out these on YouTube. Just
Will It Riff.
Will It Riff. And what they do is they take barcodes off of ordinary products, and they use the numbers as musical notes to create a riff.
I saw a video of 2 Japanese guys doing that with barcodes, but they had the scanners, and they had the scanners run through a MIDI.
Oh, okay.
And it was like very avant-garde, but they were making music and rhythmic tracks with barcodes.
So I don't know exactly how they do it, but they take the numbers that are on the barcodes and they put those into musical notes.
Right.
And then they play it in the order of the barcode. And of course, they put their own rhythms and things to it, but they rock it out. And so they've done like Heinz ketchup, Oreos, Starbucks, like anything you can imagine, shampoos,
right,
all sorts of stuff. And they'll say, will it riff? And they make up a song using the barcode numbers. And then they play for maybe a minute. You know, they do like always the chorus is whatever the product is. And then they play the riff. And then at the end of it, they hold up either, out of 10, what do they think it is, a 7 or a 6 or whatever. It's pretty funny. There's a bunch of them out there. So you should check that out. That's what the Small Town Titans have been up to. Will It Riff?
Will It Riff? Heinz tomato ketchup. Heinz!
They also just put out this single, so let's hear their version of Heroes.
I wish you could swim like the dolphins, like dolphins can swim. Though nothing will keep us together. We can beat them forever and ever. We can be heroes just for one day. And I will be king, and you will be queen. But nothing will drive them away. We could be heroes just for one day. We can be us just for one day.
All right, before we talk about this song, are you a fan of Puddles, the clown?
He does sound a little like him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like
He's
Puddles.
got that range, but
Yeah.
it's really low, but he can hit the upper notes too. And it's really powerful when he goes up in the upper octaves. But
Puddles
yeah.
is from Atlanta.
Oh, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I've seen him at the Variety Playhouse.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, there's this guy, and he goes by Puddles Pity Party or Puddles the Clown. You can Google either one of those or look it up on YouTube. He's about 6'6" or 6'9".
He's a big dude.
Big dude, dresses in full clown, like vintage clown makeup, costume, head to toe, but is extremely talented, has an amazing voice. He's been on America's Got Talent and other stuff.
He does just cover songs.
Just
right?
cover songs, yeah. And so if you look up, it's so bizarre watching him visually, but what's coming out of his mouth is very emotional. It's like gut-wrenching, some of the songs he sings. So this guy obviously reminds me of that, but this is one of those David Bowie songs I didn't know about until these knuckleheads in the Wallflowers did a cover of it. And then after that, our one remaining classic rock station, they would start putting David's rendition of it in rotation.
Oh, the original.
So then I'd hear the original, because this is before you could just look it up on the internets. But yeah, the Wallflowers did it, and then I don't know if we're going to play another song later that somebody else did that I didn't know about until it was
You talking
covered.
about the Motorhead version?
No.
Oh,
They're
there's a Motorhead version
No,
of
not,
Heroes
not
as
this
well.
song, but another David Bowie song that was made famous by another band.
We'll see.
And we'll
see
tease
where-
that. But
yeah,
yeah,
we'll see
this
where I
is
go.
the heavier version. Love it. Much better than the Wallflowers. Wallflowers put you to sleep.
Yeah, and this is a very bare bones version. He was focusing mainly on the vocals. There's tons of riffs on the original that were left off of this version that they did. Even the da-na-na-na-na, like that's not even in the song that they just did. But
no, it's stripped
the key,
down.
It's a key part, but it's stripped down, but I like it. I think it's cool. There's a great version that Lemmy did with Motorhead. I just decided to play this one because it was brand new and just came out, and I thought it was cool. To David Bowie's version, this is the title track from the 12th studio album released on October 14th, 1977. And this is the second of his Berlin trilogy, so his German odyssey that he went on. And he did these albums with Brian Eno. If you know who Brian Eno is, originally he was in Roxy Music, and then he went off on his own, and he was kind of one of those geniuses who could mimic electronics to make all sorts of weird sounds. And he's worked with everyone, probably most famously, he worked with U2 when they were doing their whole kind of electronic
It's
thing.
kind of Thomas Dolby, all those guys.
Yeah, Gary Newman,
They're
kind of
really
that,
smart engineer type musicians.
Yeah. So Bowie actually moved to Berlin, and he just became infatuated with what was emerging in Germany, which was all the electronic sounds of German artists. Think back to Tangerine Dream and some of those kraut rock. They call them
German?
kraut rock. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. And they kind of helped usher in electronic music. And then Bowie took what they were doing and made it commercial. Not totally commercial, but this song was a hit, but not all of the albums a hit.
More acceptable to the general
more
public.
acceptable. And, his influence, he got it to other folks who would otherwise never have heard this kind of stuff. Where he recorded the albums, he could see the Berlin Wall. It was still up at that point in time.
Yeah.
He could see the Berlin Wall from where he was recording, so it inspired a lot of the tension in the music, and I think just Germany in general inspired kind of what he was doing. The guitar on this song, Heroes, is Robert Fripp from King Crimson. If you go to the original,
See, every time it's just there are lots and lots of layers. I mean, we're still uncovering stuff.
so all
to
of
this
that,
day.
all of that cool kind of looped sounding guitar, it's called Frippertronics. He developed this in the 70s before anybody else was doing MIDI or anything like that. Robert Fripp is playing the guitar.
Before there was Tom Schultz.
Exactly. Well, no, because he came out in 76. But
You said he did it before anybody.
There was no MIDI. Tom Schultz didn't use MIDI.
Oh, he just made his own damn pedals.
Yeah. He was just doing.
I was thinking that.
He was just rocking.
Yeah.
This song initially was unsuccessful as a single, but it's over time it's become one of his best known songs and most acclaimed tracks. But it was not a big hit until later in the 80s. Okay, our next band is one that we discuss every Gothtober. Every Goth episode we've ever done, we have mentioned this band, and we played them on episode 250 with Matt Spatial, the Bauhaus. They're synonymous with goth rock, and so we always talk about them. I would never have expected them to cover a Bowie song. I could see them being into Bowie, but I'd see them being into that Berlin, German era kind of stuff. But no, here they are playing a kick-ass cover, the Bauhaus playing a kick-ass cover of Ziggy Stardust.
Ziggy played guitar, jamming good with Will and Gilly, and the spiders from Mars. He played it left hand, but made it too far. Became the special man, then we were Ziggy's band. Ziggy really sang, screwed up eyes and screwed down hairdo, like a cat from Japan. He could lick on by smiling, he could leave on to hand. Came on so loaded, man, well hung and snow white tan. Now where were the spiders? While the flies tried to break our balls, just for their light to guide us. So we bitched about his band, and should we crush his sweet hand? Ziggy played for time, jiving us that we were voodoo. The kids were just crass, he was the mess with God never has. He took it all too far, but boy, could he play guitar. Making love with his ego, Ziggy sucked up into his mind, like a leper messiah. When the kids had killed the man, I had to break up the band. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now Ziggy played guitar.
God, I love that version of that song. That surpassed the original for me, just like Echo and the Bunnymen's cover of the Doors song.
Oh, yeah. People Are Strange.
Yeah, that was like, okay, I love that song now. Before it was like, okay, I'm listening to a Doors song and I would move on. That song, I love that version specifically. This one, as heavy as it is, once again, brought it into my territory, our territory.
Yeah.
Where the original recording, once again, left a little something to be desired on the heaviness.
Yeah. This is probably what it sounded like live.
Well, I was going to say, I've never heard a live version of it from back then.
Right.
And I wonder if it's similar to that. Does it rock like that?
Yeah.
Because this one does a lot for me. Heavy riff.
I saw you nodding over there.
If you and I had covered this song, that I may have thought about that at some point, but this is what we would have done to it.
Absolutely.
Just crank up the distortion. 99X would play this, and that's where
this
I
version?
heard, oh, yeah, absolutely. And I heard it way back then, and I've loved it ever since.
So I don't remember hearing it in the 90s, but I can imagine them playing it. Apparently, I never would have thought, because I came into the Bauhaus later after I knew what goth rock was, but I never would have really made the connection with them and Bowie. But apparently when they came out in the UK in the 70s, that's who they were being compared to. They were compared to Bowie.
Yeah.
And so what they did was they said, well, to hell with it. We'll just put out a Bowie song then if that's what you're going to say about us. And this song peaked at number 15 on the UK charts. It was a hit single for them in 1982.
Damn. It's such a good version of it.
Yeah. Now for Bowie, this is the 9th track from Ziggy Stardust, 1972, so a full 10 years prior to the Bauhaus putting it out. And even though this is a popular tune, it was never released as a single. So the Bauhaus actually had a bigger hit because Bowie never released it.
It was just an album track.
It was just an album track. Now, after Bowie died in 2016, all of a sudden you started seeing this song charting, in streams and things like that. But before that, no, it was just an album track. And a lot of people have covered it. This is one of his most famous songs that was never a single until the Bauhaus released it.
Anytime you see a compilation band, like at the end of an award ceremony, that they get a bunch of people together.
Oh, a jam session?
Yeah, jam session, yeah. This is one of those songs they tend to throw, because it's pretty straightforward chords.
It is.
Everybody can
Probably
play
a reason
that.
frontman covered it. But hey, we could do that one.
I wasn't going to say that. Yeah.
Ours did not sound as good as what you just heard. I don't think I have a recording.
It was your
of
own interpretation.
So we've played a lot of different bands covering Bowie, because Bowie covers a lot of different territories. So I've talked about, I don't understand why all the metalheads, glam metal, hard rock people aren't totally into David Bowie. So let's just play one of these bands. We just heard a goth band. Okay. Mm-hmm. But let's hear an 80s hair metal supergroup do it.
Yeah.
Let's hear Tracy Guns, Michael Schenker, Bobby Blotzer from Rat, Cher Peterson from Vixen, and Richard Black from Shark Island as the supergroup Contraband doing this version. This is the 8th track from Ziggy Stardust. This is Hang On to Yourself from their one album they released in 1991.
Well, she's a tongue-twisted star. She's coming to the show tonight, praying to the right machine. She wants my money, not my honey. She's a fucking fine collector, playing on electric dreams. Ow, come on, come on. We really got a good thing going. Come on. If you think we're gonna make it, you better hang on to yourself. Yeah, we can't dance, we don't talk much, we just ball and play, and we move like tigers on Vaseline. Well, me because I'm better on a stolen guitar. You were messing with the spiders from Mars. Ow, come on, come on. We really got a good thing going. Come on. If you think we're gonna make it, you better hang on to yourself.
All right, I'll admit, I was getting ready to hate on this song.
Really?
Before you played it, because of the names, I was like, oh God, all these
Tracy Guns and
B-level hair bands and stuff, and all of a sudden it was like, oh damn, this rocks.
Yeah.
And it didn't sound like a hair metal group. It sounded like Cheap Trick with a dun na 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 na. She's tight.
All right, now, are you aware of this song?
No, and that's the thing. I know I've tracked through Ziggy Stardust, but it's been years and years, and I probably wasn't paying attention to this song, just the hits that I knew. So it was like hearing the song for the first time, and it was just very upbeat, fun song.
Yeah, it's more of an album cut, just like Ziggy Stardust was, but if you go back to the beginning, so David Bowie, he had a side project band called Arnold Corns.
Never heard of it.
Most people haven't. He had this group for a very short time. In May of 1971, he released a single, and that single was another song that we're going to play that was on Ziggy Stardust. It ended up being on Ziggy Stardust, but this was the B-side. Hang On to Yourself was the B-side for Arnold Corns. And what Bowie was doing was he was testing the waters to see if this new direction, moving from his psychedelic phase to this thing, if it was going to hold water.
Yeah.
And so he loved Pink Floyd at the time, and he loved the song Arnold Lane. So he called his fake band Arnold Corns and put out this single. This was the B-side as Arnold Corns, which is based off Pink Floyd. And the single flopped, and Arnold Corns was abandoned. But Bowie retained the members of the band and just rebooted the whole thing as Ziggy Stardust, and ended up putting both songs on the album, and they become part of the most famous album ever. It's another glam rock proto-punk kind of thing. It's, this definitely, I can see punk bands like The Damned and The Pistols hearing this and going, okay, we can do something with this.
It's a good song.
Okay. We just heard from a supergroup of glam metal. Let's hear from another supergroup and another song from Ziggy Stardust. Now, we talked about this supergroup just a few episodes ago in episode 326, our Splinters and Stitches episode. And this band is comprised of members of AFI and all the other guys from No Doubt.
Except for
Gwen.
The chick. The hot one.
Yeah, this is a band called Dream Car. We talked about them, like I said, a few episodes ago, and I mentioned to you then that they had an awesome cover on this little EP they put out last year, and I wanted to play it, and this is it. So this is their version of Moon Age Daydream, which is track 3 from Ziggy Stardust.
I'm an alligator. I'm a mama, papa coming for you.
I'm the space invader.
I'll be a rock and rollin' bitch for you.
Keep your mouth shut.
Just walking like a big funky bird,
and I'm messing up my brains for the word.
Keep your electric eye on me, babe.
Damn. There's something about the old school song done by a new band, newer band. Ish, 30 years old.
Yeah, some older guys.
10 years old. But just that mixture of the modern sound like we had on the last couple of songs where it's a modern recording.
You get that full range.
Yeah, but it's
sound,
not the crap that a lot of new stuff comes out as. But this one had that mix of David Bowie and with the heavier sound, kind of a Pink Floyd sound to it versus a David Bowie sound.
Well, it's interesting you say that because this was the single.
That's what I get paid for.
Yeah, this was the single released by Arnold Corns.
Yeah, exactly. So
this was the A side.
Yeah, that was like I said, the kind of the outro part of it. I could see that being kind of jammed on for a while, and all of a sudden it's a Pink Floyd song.
And Mick Ronson. So on the original Bowie version, well, not the original. I've never heard the Arnold Corns version. I think it's different than what ended up on Ziggy Stardust. But Mick Ronson's guitar at the end when they're playing that kind of jam out coda section at the end is just so good. And then you have Bowie kind of on the original version, he's kind of speaking, doing his David Bowie speak in there.
His was cool.
It's just so cool.
His is cool. Mine, I never had that. So yeah,
it's my favorite song on Ziggy Stardust.
Breathe deep, the gathering gloom.
That's a band we've never played on here. The Moody Blues.
I remember that on the old school. So in the probably late '80s classic rock.
That was classic rock. Yeah.
Nights in White Satin. They would play that. Was that the Nights in White Satin? The Breathe Deep.
That was Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, Tuesday. So it had this spoken word part to it, and even then, I'm like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah. Oh, that's some drug music right
this
there.
This drug, like old school hippie drug music. But yeah, I just remember the first line: "Breathe deep, the gathering gloom. Watch lights fade." Something.
All the poetry was done by the drummer.
Oh, was that the drummer's poetry? Really? But yeah, that didn't last long on classic rock station.
Yeah. I saw them. This is a weird tangent, but I saw the Moody Blues. I took a date to see them, and we sat. It was in an amphitheater, and we sat on the lawn and we just laid back on the grass and looked at the stars while they were playing.
Yeah, because there's no show to a Moody Blues
nothing
concert.
To watch.
No, they just sit there. But that still would be cool.
Oh, it was awesome. That was a good date.
Security came over like, guys, can you stop making out? You got to break it up.
Yeah. We're gonna need you to put your clothes back on.
You got to put the top on, lady. Good days.
All right. Well, moving on. This again goes to the people and the podcasters. I've heard a lot of podcasters. People. Now, who was that? It says that some other glammy type band.
Mr. Rogers.
Who is that? Mr. Stanley.
Mr. Stanley.
Mr. Stanley.
That's right.
Mr. Stanley's Neighborhood.
That was the other show on PBS.
Kiss. We had to get to Kiss for. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I woke you up.
Woke up the dog. That
Here's
was
your Kiss connection with a K. Sorry, doggy. Oh well.
Oh boy, he gave you a dirty look.
He did.
He's like, fuck off.
All right. Well, I'll just go on into this then. So again, I'm always surprised when I hear other podcasters who are into hard rock who don't like Bowie who have expressed this. I've heard it several times. I'm talking to you.
Oh God!
I called him out. Oh my God!
Dale, you didn't have to edit that out, man. Come on. They know where we live.
And others.
But at all.
Here is Aaron Camaro's favorite band of all time, or one of them at least, doing a Bowie song. So a band from Blue Island, Illinois, who we've played on the show a few times, a glam rock staple that they're playing, and it's a glam rock band. Here's Enough's Enough doing the Gene Genie.
Small Gene Genie snuck off to the city, strung out on lasers and slashback blazers, and ate all the razors while pulling the waiters and talking about Monroe and walking on Snow White. And New York's a go-go and everything tastes nice. Poor little greenie. Gene Genie lives on his back. Gene Genie loves him these facts. He's outrageous, he screams and he falls. Gene Genie, let yourself go. Sits like a man, but he smiles like a reptile. She loves him, but just for a short while. She'll scratch in the sand, let go of his hand. He says he's your beautician and sells you nutrition and keeps all your dead hair for making up underwear. Poor little greenie. Genie lives on his back. Genie loves chimney stacks. He's outrageous, he screams and he bows. Genie, let yourself go. So simple-minded, he can't drive his module. He bites on a neon and sleeps in a capsule. He loves to be loved. He loves to be loved.
That's not my favorite song.
You don't like that one?
No, I knew you were going to play that one at some point, but yeah, that Enough's Enough put a good effort into it, so it's not a dig on them at all. That slide guitar, I love that. It's a great sound to it, but that song to me gets really, really repetitive. Dun, 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 dun,
yeah,
dun,
old school rock and roll.
Dun, 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 dun. And I've seen, oh, sorry, I woke up the dog again. I've seen local bands cover that or whoever's covering that, unless you can really add a lot to it, it gets old really quick.
Okay.
So yeah, hats off to Enough's Enough for doing a damn good job of covering that song, but David Bowie was kind of phoning that one in, I think.
Hated it.
Well, again, look at you.
Yeah.
Perfectly stating what was happening. That's off of the 1972 album Aladdin Sane, which is the follow-up to Ziggy Stardust, and it's the second in his glam rock trilogy, and those were sort of the reviews when it came out as, well, he used up a lot of what he was doing in Ziggy because this is basically Ziggy Part 2 and it's not as good.
All the songs that he didn't want on the first album, but
yeah.
It's the final cut of David Bowie.
However,
all the leftovers.
Yeah. However, he was riding so high on being Ziggy Stardust and the character and David Bowie, you know, in his fame at that time. So it went to number 2 on the UK singles chart. It did very well, but over time, the album's not considered as consistent or as good as Ziggy Stardust. It was kind of, to your point, the leftovers.
Yeah.
And the song itself was inspired by Iggy Pop. It's when Bowie was meeting Iggy for the first time when they were becoming friends, and it was meant to be an Americana kind of feel to
well, it makes more sense
song.
when you say that, because some of Iggy's songs, the
repetitious,
the Passenger and stuff like that, and all. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what I think of when I think of getting named Ziggy and Izzy, Zizzy. But yeah, the repetition, that makes sense if he's kind of channeling that Iggy Pop.
Yeah, I agree. It's probably the coolest album cover ever, because Aladdin Sane is the one where he has just his face on it and the lightning bolts painted on his face. Very iconic album cover. But yeah, the album's not nearly as good as Ziggy Stardust.
Okay.
But I don't have a problem with that song, but I understand what you're saying. I totally get it. So let's go back to Ziggy Stardust then. And this is a newer band. So Bowie's reach extends to bands that were formed after his death, which is crazy. He died in 2016, and there's still young bands out there. This is a young band from LA we've played before on our retro episodes, but here they are playing David Bowie, and they weren't even a band when he died. And so this is a band called Classless Act, and they recorded their first album at Tommy Lee's studio. They were produced by Bob Rock, and they just happened to have a kid named London Hudson as their drummer. And London Hudson, his dad's name is Slash.
Oh, that's where I've heard that name before.
So this band's had a little help. They played that stadium tour a few years ago with Crew, Def Leppard, Poison, Joan Jett. They were the ones that took Tuck's spot.
Oh, unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, unfortunately. But they do a pretty good version of David Bowie. Last year they put out a little, I guess it's a single. It's not an EP. It just has 2 songs on it, but it was called Classless Act Does Bowie, and it had 2 songs on it. And I'm going to play one of them here. This is the song from Ziggy Stardust, Starman.
Didn't know what time it was, the lights were low. Oh, oh, I leaned back on my radio. Oh, oh, some cat was laying down some rock and roll out of soul, he said. And then the loud sound, it seemed to fade.
excellent cover.
Right?
That was very sympathetic to the original. The guy's voice lent itself perfectly to a Bowie cover. I don't know what he sounds like normally because I've never...
Just hold your wad there, fella.
You have.
I have?
Yeah, you've heard him twice.
Okay, well, let's say I haven't heard him a lot. I've heard him twice
You've heard
in
him
the past 6 years. Thank
exactly.
you. Yeah, so I don't know what he sounds like. That's the truth. Even though I have heard it, I can't recall exactly what it sounds like.
That's fine. I know what you mean.
Remember that conversation we had at the beginning of the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is what we're talking about. Fuck. No, I don't know what he sounds like because I don't remember what he sounds like. Let's just put it that way. And so if he's got that David Bowie quality to it, his other songs, I don't remember.
That's his voice.
That's his, so it sounds great,
similar.
though. I loved it. That's another song I didn't really know about until, of all things, maybe a couple of 3 years ago. I don't know. It was a meme.
That recent.
I might have heard it in the background, but didn't really think about it. But there was a meme going around where, I don't know if I can describe it. It was like real footage from closed circuit TV or whatever, and something would happen, like somebody would fall into the subway tracks and somebody would grab them at the last second, and it's like instead of playing his hero song, they're playing Starman as if he was this hero, and like somebody would commit a crime like robbing somebody, but somebody would step in and punch the guy in the mouth and they play this song, and it was really popular for a brief period of time, much like memes happen to be.
See, you're so in the know. I have no idea about this.
So that's what I think of is somebody punching somebody in the mouth when I hear that song, but in a good way, like in a happy way. They deserved it.
Well, for David Bowie, Starman was the lead single from the Ziggy Stardust album. It introduced the world to David Bowie as the Ziggy character and to glam rock. And following his performance on BBC television, that's when everything kicked off in the UK for him. It was this song live on TV in the get-up as Ziggy Stardust that just made kids in the UK just go nuts. And, the next day everybody was glam rock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like that.
Just like that. The song reached number 10 on the UK singles chart, and it helped propel the album to number 5 there. But like I said, it never really hit in the States like it did in the UK.
Yeah.
It was his second hit overall. He was previously considered a one-hit wonder, and he was being considered to be dropped from the label until Ziggy came out.
And how many other bands could have been huge but didn't quite have as much of a chance as he did?
He had a hit single in 1969, and then it wasn't until 72. These days, you don't get that much time.
Oh, no, God, no. You get 3 months.
So let's move into the last song of the night, which happens to be that one-hit wonder song, had he not released Ziggy. And this is a band that we've dedicated a whole episode to a few years ago. In episode 160, we said that Florida's Saigon Kick should have been huge. And I stand by that today. Sort of an in-betweener 80s, 90s band that definitely has some Bowie-like tendencies. They were chameleons themselves. Mm-hmm. You never knew what you were going to get from song to song on a Saigon Kick album. Definitely a hard rock band, but they had all these other things that they did, including the hit ballad.
Love is over. Sorry.
Please, continue.
No. I'd sing the whole song. I know. I can't get started.
You'd be like Cartman?
Yeah, I can't stop. I have to go through the whole damn song.
Okay.
Sorry.
Dude, I can't stand to leave things unfinished. It's like when you hear the first part of that song, Come Sail Away by Styx. If I hear the first part of that song, I have to finish it. Really? Yeah, I can't do anything till it's done. I'm sailing away. No, don't. Set an open course for the Virgin Sea. I've got to be free the face of that's ahead of me. I'm bored on the couches, climb aboard, we search for tomorrow on every shore, and I'll try to carry on. Gathering all in just a bit about my head, the same girls, the song of hope, and this is what they say. Comes away with me. That comes away with me. I thought that they were just about to rise, the bottom of the stars, and headed for that sky. Comes away with me. Comes away with me. Whoa, dude.
So they released an awesome version of Bowie's first ever hit as track 2 on their 1993 album Water. And that's an album that they actually have celebrated over the past couple of years, and they're continuing to do so. In fact, they have some shows. Saigon Kick has some shows in April, and they'll be playing this music again.
How many original members are still touring?
So I don't think the singer's with them anymore. You've got the rest of the band, basically. But all you need is Jason Bieler. He can do all the singing anyway. So
true.
it didn't matter really that the singer didn't come back. But they don't play many shows, so the fact that they're playing in April, if you're in Florida, go see them because it's a killer band. All right, so let's hear their version of Space Oddity.
Ground control
A plus.
Really good,
I expected that, yeah.
Yeah.
A plus. Excellent version of that. And I had completely forgotten until about halfway through that song that I think that was one of the last times that I sang and played guitar in front of an audience was 10 years ago. I was still doing the pyrotechnics for the fire circus thing. And we had a show probably about a week after he died, maybe less than a week. And I really quickly learned that on the acoustic guitar. And we opened the show with that, which is very odd to start off that somber, but everybody was feeling it. And so I remember playing it, and I just planned on just singing and playing it, and then the show was going to start, and some of the performers came out and lit up some fire props, and they were doing kind of this not choreographed, but kind of an ad-lib dance behind me, and it was really cool. And I never thought that would be the last time. I might have, but I was trying to think, I can't remember if I've played and sang in front of an audience like that since then. So that was kind of odd. It's 10 years.
Wow. I didn't even know that. You never even told me that you did that.
There's a lot of things I haven't told you. Let's sit down afterwards.
That's why we do this.
There's
right?
like 2012 through 2014 that I'm just now remembering some of the things that I did.
It's just starting to come back.
It's coming back now.
Gotcha.
So everything's starting to clear up a little bit. The fog's gone away. I'm like, oh God, I did that. So it's kind of fun that I did that, but also kind of sad because I don't think I may have done something else since then, but I think that might have been it.
Well, the reunions, it's coming.
Oh yeah,
there's going to be a reunion at some point.
Absolutely.
It'll happen.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I that's a special song now that I think about it. So that was a great cover of a really great song.
And what a great song for us to end on tonight,
Yes.
because we literally just had, as of this recording, we literally just had a space launch. Artemis 2 launched last night as we're recording this.
Mm-hmm.
And this song, Space Oddity, was rushed released by David Bowie and his record company to capitalize on the Apollo 11 moon landing. So they put this song out July 11th, 1969. We landed on the moon July 20th.
Nailed it.
It was used by the BBC as the background music during its coverage of the event.
Yeah.
So this was the hit that David Bowie got. Unfortunately, after this, he didn't have other songs like this.
Right.
And so he was thought to be a one-hit wonder. But this was a big hit for him.
And we didn't play the other famous cover because it's too famous. The Nirvana.
Oh, yes. No, I wouldn't even consider that.
And yet another David Bowie song that I didn't really know until they covered it. And then 99X would play the original once in a while, and a couple of classic rock stations would throw it in once in a while, which I had never heard that before on a radio station. So that was interesting how many songs.
Which that was from his
fact.
that was from his psychedelic era.
Yeah.
Was when that,
so all these songs that weren't hits originally, later on somebody covered them. Kind of like what's that guy? Bob Dylan. Yeah, there's your Bob Dylan moment. But yeah, so sometimes these are, you just got to see them in a different light and to really appreciate them.
Yeah. So Space Oddity went to number 5 on the British charts, and it was on his second album, but it was way out of place. The rest of the album is like folky, psychedelic stuff. Didn't make any sense on the album. So they reissued it after Ziggy got big. So RCA re-released it, and it became Bowie's first U.S. hit after they re-released it in 72.
And then Peter Schilling
Right.
was like 84, 85?
Yeah, it was the 80s. I don't know.
Yeah, mid-80s. Let's say that.
Yeah. It also became a number 1 in the UK when it got re-released in 75, because I think it was on a best of album. So this song's just stuck around. You can still hear it in, I don't know, ads, and I hear it all the time. Or I hear cover versions of it even.
Yeah.
People covering it. Not this version. Saigon Kick did an excellent version though.
He still got royalties posthumously.
Yeah. The estate.
The estate's raking it in.
Well, that's what I got for you, man. A little David Bowie.
Very timely and topical.
How timely.
Like we always are.
Wow.
A week and a half later.
Serendipity. Well, as of the recording.
As of the recording. We're timely and topical.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, man. Anything else from you? Any other David Bowie nuggets you're going to drop on me like that when you just...
No, I'm going to...
Only time you've ever covered Bowie?
The only time.
Only time.
That was it. And it was a last second thing. Like I said, I kind of learned it the last second, just decided to do it, told somebody, I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm going to just start the show with a really depressing thing. They're like, okay, sounds good.
Do we have that on YouTube somewhere?
No,
not recorded.
No. I think Captain Ryan was there, but he probably wasn't paying attention.
All right. Well, I hope everyone else has been paying attention. And I hope all of you naysayers now have heard all of these great bands cover the amazing David Bowie. So maybe now you have more appreciation.
Yes, go and cover a Bowie song.
David Bowie. Go and cover Bowie. Why not? Everyone else has.
It's about time.
I could do like 3 more versions of this episode.
Save it. We might need it.
We might do that. The next Artemis 3 launch, we'll do a David Bowie episode.
Hopefully many more.
All right. Until next time, people.
Later.
In space.
Bigs in space. You gotta throw that in there.